जी जंत तेरे तारे प्रभ डोरी हाथ तुम्हारे जे करावे सो करना नानक दास तेरी सरना तेरा हुक्म तिबैत्यु होवना जह जह रखे आप तह जाए करुणा ज्यों ज्यों तेरा हुक्म तिबैत्यु होवना जह जह रखे आप तह जाए करुणा ज्यों ज्यों तेरा हुक्म तिबैत्यु होवना जह जह रखे ਜੋਤ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ ਪਰਮ ਭਉ ਖੋਵਨਾ ਪਰਮ ਭਉ ਖੋਵਨਾ ਪਰਮ ਭਉ ਖੋਵਨਾ ਜੋ ਤੇਰਾ ਹੁਕਮ ਤੇਰਾ ਕਿਉ ਹੋਵਨਾ ਜੈ ਜੈ ਰਖਿਆ ਆਪ ਤਹਿ ਜਾਏ ਖੜੋਵਨਾ ਜੋ ਤੇਰਾ ਹੁਕਮ ਤੇਰਾ ਕਿਉ ਹੋਵਨਾ ਜੈ ਜੈ ਰਖਿਆ ਆਪ ਤਹਿ ਜਾਏ ਖੜੋਵਨਾ ਪਛਾਤਾ ਹੁਕਮ ਤਿਨ ਕਦੇ ਨਾ ਰੋਵਣਾ ਜਿਨੀ ਪਛਾਤਾ ਹੁਕਮ ਤਿਨ ਕਦੇ ਨਾ ਰੋਵਣਾ ਨਾਉ ਨਾਨਕ ਬਖਸ਼ੀਸ਼ ਮਨ ਮਾਹੇ ਪਰੋਵਣਾ ਨਾਉ ਨਾਨਕ ਬਖਸ਼ੀਸ਼ ਮਨ ਮਾਹੇ ਪਰੋਵਣਾ ਮਨ ਮਾਹੇ ਪਰੋਵਣਾ ਮਨ ਮਾਹੇ ਪਰੋਵਣਾ ਜੋ ਤੇਰਾ ਹੁਕਮ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਕਿਉ ਹੋਵਨਾ ਜੈ ਜੈ ਰਖਿਆ ਆਪ ਲਹਿ ਜਾਏ ਖੜੋਵਣਾ ਜੋ ਤੇਰਾ ਹੁਕਮ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਕਿਉ ਹੋਵਨਾ ਜੈ ਜੈ ਰਖਿਆ ਆਪ ਲਹਿ ਜਾਏ ਖੜੋਵਣਾ ਲਹਿ ਜਾਏ ਖੜੋਵਣਾ ਲਹਿ ਜਾਏ ਖੜੋਵਣਾ
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। The Shabad, the words of the Guru we just listened is by 5th Nanak Guru Arjan Sahib Ji in the 6th scripture at Anga 523. And in these very words, Guru Arjan Sahib Ji Sache Patsha is explaining to us that that happens which is supposed to be happen in the divine will. And that divine will cannot be described in words because it's the biggest mystery ever. So whatever happens, happens under the command of the Lord, under the commands of the Master, the ultimate Vaheguru, the divine. So the Guru Sahib Ji emphasizing on the point that when we accept the command, when we accept the divine will as it is in its natural flow, then the acceptance gives us peace, easiness of the life. As there is an example, if we go along the flow of the river, it's easy. And And if we go against the flow of river, it's hard. So it becomes easy when we accept the divine will. And Guru Sahib Ji make it easy for us through the Gurbani, through the Sikhi, through the Sangha, through the congregation, with the support of others. So the whole point, the whole idea of this very Shabad is a Sikh, a human being, one who accepts the divine will, finds the ultimate peace. And that hukam, about what Guru Nanak Sahib Ji every day teaches us in the very first prayer of every Sikh, one who does in the early morning in the Japji Sahib, Guru Sahib says in the second pauri, Hukmi hovan akar, hukum na kahya jai. That hukam cannot be described in words, but it's happening. It's happening. And the thing is, if we can realize the hukam, and at the end of the pauri, Guru Sahib Ji says, Nanak hukme je bujhe ta haume keh na koi. And in these very words, Guru Sahib Ji points to the message, Jeh jeh rakhe aap teh jaye khadovna. Wherever is your will, so there we go. There we do stand. As per your command, as per your hukam, the divine will. So the Guru Sahib Ji further says, Naam tera ke rang durmat tovna. But the understanding of the hukam and the way to accept the hukam comes to those who are in the divine love, those who are drenched in the divine attributes. And what the divine attributes is, Guru Sahib Ji says it, Naam. The name of the divine, which was in the beginning, even before the beginning, even before the time started, there was a Naam. Naam is today, Naam would be tomorrow, Naam is forever. And if we can attune our mind, our thoughts, our soul to that divine Naam, it's easy to follow the hukam. Guru Sahib Sache Paatshah Kirpa Karte ne, ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਇਹ ਨਾਮ ਵਰਸਦਾ ਹੈ, those who realize this naam, the existence of the divine inside and outside in the creation, those who realize the creator in the creation, they feel it, they live it, and they die for it. So Guru Sahib Ji's kirpa, jini pachata hukam tin kade na rovna, they never cry, they never weep. Those who understand the divine will. That's the essence of this Shabad.
Vich duniya sevak maiye, taadar baisan paiye. Vich duniya sevak maiye, ਤਾਦਰ ਗਹਿ ਬੈਸਣ ਪਾਈਐ। ਕਹੋ ਨਾਨਕ ਬਾਹਰ ਉਡਾਈਐ, ਕਹੋ ਨਾਨਕ ਬਾਹਰ ਉਡਾਈਐ। ਅਸ਼ਲ ਸ਼ਲਾਈ ਨਹ ਸ਼ਲੈ ਨਹ ਤਾਉ ਕਟਾਰਾ ਕਰ ਸਕੈ। ਕਿਉ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਰਾਖੈ ਕਿਉ ਰਹੈ, ਇਸ ਲੋਭੀ ਕਾ ਜਿਉ ਟਲ ਪਲੈ। ਬਿਨ ਤੇਲ ਦੀਵਾ ਕਿਉ ਜਲੈ, ਬਿਨ ਤੇਲ ਦੀਵਾ ਕਿਉ ਜਲੈ। ਵਿੱਚ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਸੇਵਕ ਮਾਈਐ, ਤਾਂ ਦਰਗਹਿ ਬੈਸਣ ਪਾਈਐ। ਵਿੱਚ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਸੇਵਕ ਮਾਈਐ, ਤਾਂ ਦਰਗਹਿ ਬੈਸਣ ਪਾਈਐ। ਬਾਹਰ ਉਡਾਈਐ, ਕਹੋ ਨਾਨਕ ਬਾਹਾਂ ਲੁਟਾਈਐ। ਪੋਥੀ ਪੁਰਾਣ ਕਮਾਈਐ, ਓ ਵੱਡੀ ਇਤ ਤਨ ਪਾਈਐ। ਸੱਚ ਬੂਝਣ ਆਣ ਜਲਾਈਐ, ਸੱਚ ਬੂਝਣ ਆਣ ਜਲਾਈਐ। ਇਹੋ ਤੇਲ ਦੀਵਾ ਕਿਉਂ ਜਲੈ, ਕਰ ਚਾਨਣ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਤੋ ਮਿਲੈ। ਕਰ ਚਾਨਣ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਤੋ ਮਿਲੈ, ਕਰ ਚਾਨਣ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਤੋ ਮਿਲੈ। ਵਿੱਚ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਸੇਵਕ ਮਈਐ, ਤਾਂ ਦਰਗਹਿ ਬੈਸਣ ਪਈਐ। ਵਿੱਚ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਸੇਵਕ ਮਈਐ, ਤਾਂ ਦਰਗਹਿ ਬੈਸਣ ਪਈਐ। ਕਹੋ ਨਾਨਕ ਬਾਹਾਂ ਲੁਟਾਈਐ, ਕਹੋ ਨਾਨਕ ਬਾਹਾਂ ਲੁਟਾਈਐ। ਇਤ ਤਨ ਲਾਗੈ ਬਾਣੀਆਂ, ਸੁਖ ਹੋਵੈ ਸੇਵ ਮਾਣੀਆਂ। ਇਤ ਤਨ ਲਾਗੈ ਬਾਣੀਆਂ, ਸੁਖ ਹੋਵੈ ਸੇਵ ਮਾਣੀਆਂ। ਸਭ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਆਵਣ ਜਾਣੀਆਂ, ਸਭ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਆਵਣ ਜਾਣੀਆਂ। ਵਿੱਚ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਸੇਵਕ ਮਈਐ, ਤਾਂ ਦਰਗਹਿ ਬੈਸਣ ਪਈਐ। ਵਿੱਚ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਸੇਵਕ ਮਈਐ, ਤਾਂ ਦਰਗਹਿ ਬੈਸਣ ਪਈਐ। ਕਹੋ ਨਾਨਕ ਬਾਹਾਂ ਲੁਟਾਈਐ, ਕਹੋ ਨਾਨਕ ਬਾਹਾਂ ਲੁਟਾਈਐ, ਕਹੋ ਨਾਨਕ ਬਾਹਾਂ ਲੁਟਾਈਐ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ।
And in this Shabad by Guru Nanak Sahib Ji on Ang 26 of Guru Granth Sahib Ji, Guru Sahib Ji has used the spiritual components how to lit the lamp of divine love in our heart. And those components are Pothi Puran Kamaiye. Make the reading of scriptures the oil to lit, and Pothi Puran Kamaiye Pavati Itatan Pai, and that way to make the wick of divine love. Such Bhujan An Jalaiye, and with the truthful living lit this lamp. And in the end of the Shabad, Guru Sahib Ji says, which Duniya Sev Kamaiye, who has served in the world, who has served the humanity, which Duniya Sev Kamaiye, tan dargah besan paiye. They find the place in the court of the Lord. Kaho Nanak bahan ludaiye. Literally bahan ludaiye means waving the arm in the joy and the celebration, but it's the expression in the Gurbani in the sense of like celebrating the life. Like we have accomplished the task that God has sent her for. Though the task of a Gursikh is to which dunya sev kamaiye, tan dargah besan paiye, kaho Nanak bahan ludaiye. So these are the very essence words of this Shabad. And with the completion of this portion of the Sikh ceremony, we're going to say 5 Jakara. Jakara is a tradition in the Sikhism of war cry and At the end of every ceremony, we say 5 Jaikara, and all the 5 Jaikaras would be from the stage. So you just join us in the Jaikara. Only 5 Jaikara, starting with Bhai Amrik Singh Ji.
ਬੋਲੇ ਸੋਨਿਹਾਲ
ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਬੋਲੇ ਸੋਨਿਹਾਲ
ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਬੋਲੇ ਸੋਨਿਹਾਲ ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਬੋਲੇ ਸੋਨਿਹਾਲ ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ
ਬੋਲੇ ਸੋਨਿਹਾਲ
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ
So Sangat ji, I would like to take the opportunity to just make a request. Okay, as you might have aware that we are approaching to the Akal Takht Sahib to announce the September 27th as the World Turban Day. So I would like to make a request on this platform to announce the 27th September, the day when the hero Deputy Dhaliwal gave his life for the community, for the USA, and for the welfare of others, to protect us, to announce September 27th as the Sikhi Awareness Day. Thank you. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Call to the platform. Have a seat behind me, please. Dr. Hardan Singh Azad, Captain Simbratal Singh, Miss Amy from the Copperfield community, and Senator Ted Cruz of Texas. We will hear remarks from each of these in the order that I called them. Dr. Azad will speak first, then Captain Singh, then Amy, and then Senator Ted Cruz.
Ladies and gentlemen of Houston and other places in these great United States, with deep sorrow and aching hearts, we all have gathered here to celebrate the life of an exemplary U.S. citizen and ideal human being, Mr. Sandeep Singh Dhaliwal. As most of you know by now, Mr. Dhaliwal served as a Harris County Sheriff's Deputy for the last decade. He was performing a routine traffic stop when the driver of the stopped car followed Deputy Dhaliwal and shot him from behind. He was pronounced dead a short time later. This evildoer was soon taken into sheriff's custody and now awaits trial for capital murder. Sandeep Singh Dhaliwal is survived by 3 young children, wife, and father. Mr. Dhaliwal also sported a beard and a turban as required by his Sikh faith, while he wore law enforcement blue uniform. While perfection is reserved by God alone, Sandeep, in the human flesh and dear to all of us because of his truly outstanding human qualities, such as limitless generosity, uplifting outlook on life, pleasant in his demeanor and behavior, his perpetual smile for all, unending quest of service to others, etc., etc. Service of fellow human beings was the center of Sandeep's life. We will hear about his admirable service in the blue uniform as a Harris County Sheriff's deputy during the next hour from his colleagues and superiors who observed Sandeep from close range and firsthand. But during this hour, we will focus on his Sikh faith and his faith community. My remarks should provide you some insights that Sikh faith is very compatible with the U.S. Constitution and culture. Because of the religiously required facial hair and turbans, Sikhs are the most visible minority in North America. While we are celebrating the 550th birthday of our founder, Guru Nanak, this year, Sikh religion is still relatively young as compared to the other major religions of the world. There are about 25 million adherents of Sikh faith worldwide. As a percent of the total population, in Canada, Sikhs represent about 2 to 2.5%, which is more than their percentage in India. However, Sikhs are a much smaller minority in the United States, about 750,000, or about 0.2% of the US population. Sikhism is world's fifth largest major religion. It has its own religious scriptures and ethnic identity. Clearly, Sikhs are readily recognizable with their facial hair and turbans. Throughout history, Sikhs have taken up arms to defend religious freedoms of others and their own. Just like Sandeep Singh Dhaliwal did, many Sikhs now serve in the US military and local and state law enforcement organizations. Captain Simrat Pal Singh, sitting behind me, will highlight their presence here soon, and we will learn from him how Sandeep impacted their lives. Sikhs, through religious teaching and practice, are self-reliant, enterprising, and community-minded, earning an honest living, praying before the universal God, and sharing their blessings with others less fortunate are the three pillars of Sikh religion. For Sikhs like Sandeep Singh Dhaliwal, sharing included service to mankind in many different ways, including natural disaster relief work. He won countless hearts and minds by spearheading the distribution of relief supplies to flooded areas after Hurricane Harvey in South Texas and Maria in Puerto Rico several years ago. The Sikh tradition has a very rich history. Sikhs are a resilient community despite a long struggle of suffering and displacement since the Mughal period. Over the centuries, the Sikhs have developed a deep legacy of defending religious liberty. They believe in ensuring everyone's freedom to practice religion of their choice. Guru Tegh Bahadur, the ninth Guru, embraced martyrdom to safeguard religious freedoms of other than his own religion and protected them from forced conversion. The Sikhs have endeavored to uphold this ideal throughout their history. Such experiences taught Sikhs the strengths of religious conviction and a healthy resolve to thwart tyrannical exercise of state power. Coupled with Guru Nanak's emphasis on honest work, these principles translate into a spirit of fierce self-reliance. The American Republic's traditions of right to bear arms, self-government, free enterprise, and freedom of religion are commitments deeply rooted in Sikh history. Sikh Americans are highly successful businessmen, doctors, nurses, engineers, and lawyers. Most importantly, Sikh Americans proudly serve in various law enforcement agencies and military services of the United States, as Captain Simratpal Singh will discuss further. Today, at Sandeep Singh Dhaliwal's funeral, the Sikh American Institute commits to forging more Sandeeps will defend the life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness of all Americans. The Sikh American Institute will host, fund, train young Sikhs to go to serve in our country's premier law enforcement and military services. As one Sandeep Singh Dhaliwal has been taken away from us, we will give America many more. Unfortunately, largely due to their distinct identity, Sikh Americans have often become random targets of hate crimes and killings. In 2012, as Sikhs prayed in their Gurdwara at Oak Creek, Wisconsin, they became targets of a mass shooting where Sikhs were killed. This was the deadliest attack on Sikh place of worship in the United States. Our lawmakers, like Senator Ted Cruz, do their best to combat evil in our society. However, as Senator Cruz will speak to us soon on Sandeep Dhaliwal's exemplary service and sacrifice, lawmakers' work in this area may never be done. Evil is here to stay from times immemorial. We cannot wish away, we cannot legislate it out. Sandeep Singh Dhaliwal stood for Sikh values and he exemplified Sikh faith. Even in his death, he has brought a tremendous sense of pride among all Sikhs, Americans, and human beings all over the world. Among the most commonly practiced Sikh values is equality among all men and equality among men and women. Respect, tolerance, and unconditional support of others' religious and cultural beliefs are also central to Sikh religion and culture, which Sandeep practiced during his life, cut short by an evil accession on September 27 this year. Hundreds of you have traveled hundreds or even thousands of miles to attend Sandeep's funeral. Many elected officials at the local, state, and federal level, sitting in front of the first 3 or 4 rows, international representatives, and many leaders of the various Sikh organizations. Ravi is here from Sikh Aid. Sikhs all over the world have heard about his humanitarian and relief work. United Sikhs folks are here there are many other Sikh leaders present and other community leaders to pay their final respects to Sandeep Singh Dhaliwal. On behalf of the grieving Dhaliwal family and the entire concerned population of Houston, I thank you from the depths of my heart for your presence here today. You have made a loud and bold statement that good always prevails over evil. We are sorry that we cannot acknowledge your participation individually or even as groups due to time constraints. However, I assure you that the great soul of Sandeep knows why you are here. Sandeep Singh Dhaliwal's human body, which we just viewed, will be cremated soon. But memory of his prolific service to mankind will be etched in our hearts and minds forever. May God bless Sandeep Singh Dhaliwal's departed soul, all of you, and the United States of America. Thank you.
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Bless this community and this nation for the love we've seen. On behalf of the Sikh uniformed personnel serving and those that have served previously, including many organizations such as the Sikh Officers Association, they're here to extend our love to our brothers, to the family of our brother in arms. Nothing I say today is going to vanquish the pain. But know this: the sacred cloth of our nation that we wear alongside Sandeep is dyed slightly more red, white, and blue with his sacrifice. Sandeep was a father, a husband, a son, a brother, a proud police officer, a trailblazer, a humanitarian. The dedication he had to serve, protect, and uplift the community is something that we can all appreciate. But there's something greater which attracted countless individuals to connect with him and has attracted all of us here today. It's the light of his godly virtues that radiated and shined bright for all of us to see. He was humble, fearless, not dissuaded by negativity. He truly saw the human race as one, and he spoke the language of love. Love which connects us to our core being and our soul, and for many to the source energy, God itself. Love is the language that breaks barriers, multiplies in strength as it is shared, invokes the hidden virtues within us all. It is the love which we witness in his selfless service of others. It's that love that has brought us here today. His warm embrace, his contagious smile, and his unwavering, unrelenting high spirits that has brought us here today. Our Babbar Sher, our lion, may be gone physically, but his legacy of selfless service and of breaking down barriers will continue to live on. He would have wanted us, his brothers and sisters in arms, to keep pushing and to never quit. Our dream is that a Sikh like Sandeep, with his unrelenting love of service, should they choose to don the uniform of this nation, that individual will not have to fight the fight that Sandeep fought to serve with his turban and his beard. His proud service here in the Harris County Sheriff's Department was welcomed in 2015. And that embodies the rich diversity of this city, our nation. And through his service, we must all continue to work together until every government agency in this great nation is open to an observant Sikh to serve. And now I'm going to talk not only to those in here, but to many of those across the nation that are watching, that have bonded with Sandeep through these trying times. We hope you stand ready to stand with us. Every like, every retweet, every share, every applause in every stadium was a resounding endorsement of Sandeep's legacy. We must not forget these endorsements when the inevitable time comes to pick ourselves up and get to work, because that's how Sandeep operated. Someone who walked the walk, modde naal modda, shoulder to shoulder. We are with you and your family, brother. Until we meet again, Rab Rakha, God bless, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Sat Shri Akal. Sat Shri Akal. True is the great, timeless one. Good morning. My name is Amy Lasko. Some of you here today may be asking yourselves, who is this girl standing before you and why is she speaking? I even asked myself, why me? What do I have to say? I am simply a member of this community and a volunteer. This is my home. I attended Feast Elementary, Libai Junior High, Cy Falls High School, and I even graduated from Prairie View A&M. I didn't want to be here today. I didn't want to accept this, that we lost our friend, Officer Sandeep Dhaliwal. When we lost Officer Goforth 4 years ago, it was yards from my home. I, along with all of you, were left in shock and disbelief. Things like that just don't happen here. That very next morning, a group of everyday community members and myself came together as one to organize that memorial and that fundraiser. It was then, under those unfortunate circumstances, that I met our beloved Officer Sandeep Dhaliwal. During those events, Officer Dhaliwal and I spent a large amount of time together. We combined our efforts and our message that we wanted to share with our community and the world, who were all listening at that moment in time. They were watching to see how we chose to handle that tragedy. That message was one of unity in the community, of brotherhood, sisterhood, compassion, tolerance, and most importantly, love. During that memorial, Officer Dhaliwal would often nudge me to speak to the crowds. They were small crowds in the evening as people continued to pay their respects. It was nothing like the audience here today. I was hesitant even then, but he would just smile at me and say, "But Amy, you're so good at it. You can do it. We have to share our message. We have to make the people feel better." I know that it is his guiding force that has brought me before you today. When I heard we lost Officer Dhaliwal, once again I was in shock and disbelief. But this time, I also felt anger, because this time I remembered that things like this do happen here. And I don't understand why. And I don't understand why this world is cruel and dangerous and dark. But then I thought back to that memorial where I met Officer Dhaliwal and where I learned what he stood for. It was at that time Officer Dhaliwal taught me the greeting, Sat Shri Akal, because I wanted to greet his father as he visited that memorial every single day. And I wanted to pay him respect. As you have all heard by now, Officer Dhaliwal was a Sikh. He loved to share and educate people about his faith, and I am grateful to have shared many conversations with him regarding this topic. I would like to take this opportunity to share a few key points with you all as I understand them to be. It is my hope that you may all leave here today with a greater understanding and knowledge of the Sikh community and just what this absolutely amazing man stood for. The Sikh community has a deep respect for all people. Sikhs believe in one God, equality, and community service. Sikhs wear a turban, and that turban represents a commitment to equality and justice. 99% of the people you meet wearing a turban are Sikh. Sikhism is a distinct religion separate from Hinduism and Islam. The word Sikh itself means student for a lifetime. Sikhism stresses the equality of all men and all women. Sikhism stresses the importance of self-defense. However, it pointedly teaches not to seek revenge or retaliation, and it teaches observers to be free from hate. Sikhs believe in three basic principles: meditating on the name of God, earning an honest living, and sharing the fruits of one's labor with others. Sikh teachings emphasize service to humanity. A guiding principle is to work on one's ego by service to others without expecting anything in return. It is my hope that as you all depart here today, you will take some of these principles with you. I don't know why the world is dark or dangerous or why bad things happen to good people like Officer Dhaliwal, but I do know that he would want us to come together and not give in to the darkness. He would want us to embrace and celebrate our differences, do good deeds, and spread love. When today's services are concluded, I hope that you take a moment to talk to the stranger next to you, say hello, shake hands, and give them a hug. I also encourage you to greet your Sikh neighbor with the words, Sat Shri Akal. Officer Dhaliwal and I, along with many other community members, became great friends over these very same sorrowful circumstances. However, something good came out of a tragedy because I met him, and my world was made all the richer because of knowing him. It is my hope that something good, however small, can come out of this. It is through unity in our community that we will heal our pain and go forward stronger and more united than ever, thanks to Officer Dhaliwal's example. Sandeep Dhaliwal was one man who impacted countless lives within our community, our country, and the world. You too can be a positive difference to our community and the world through mutual understanding, respect, service to others, and most of all, love. Thank you.
We are here today celebrating a hero. We're here today as a community, grieving together, standing together, expressing our unity and our love. Last Friday, Deputy Sandeep Dhaliwal's life was tragically taken in the line of duty. Since we heard the news of his passing on Friday, just a few days ago, there has been a ceaseless stream of commemorations and testimony to Deputy Dhaliwal's character in this community. And upon reflecting on his life, three things stand out: his commitment to his faith, his commitment to his family, and his commitment to serve others. Deputy Dhaliwal was deeply moved by his Sikh faith. When he was recruited by the sheriff's office, he petitioned the office to allow him to wear his turban and beard while in uniform, and he became the first to be allowed to do so. He also knew how important law enforcement officers are to our community, how they keep us safe from those who wish us harm. This was also tied deeply to his Sikh faith, as Sikhs take very seriously the right to keep and bear arms and helping those in need. As we've seen today, many Sikhs serve in law enforcement and in the military, and Deputy Dhaliwal answered the call to do that by serving in the sheriff's office here in Harris County. Deputy Dhaliwal was also a dedicated husband and father and son and brother. To his family, especially his wife and three beautiful young children, know that this community is with you, supporting you, lifting you up, and we are grateful for your father's service, his sacrifice, and his legacy. We also remember Deputy Dhaliwal's commitment to love and to peace. A love and peace that he showed not only the Houston community, but to each person he served. When Hurricane Harvey struck Houston, Deputy Dhaliwal served meals to those who were left homeless. In the wake of Hurricane Maria, he traveled to Puerto Rico to assist in the relief efforts there. He also worked to deliver water and supplies to Punjab, India, while the area was suffering from a severe drought. He leaves behind an unmistakable and a beautiful legacy of a life marked with service and devotion to others. Many of us here were also at the 2015 funeral of another local hero, Deputy Darren Goforth. I, for one, have been to too many funerals of law enforcement heroes who risk their lives every day. Deputy Dhaliwal visited the Go Forth Memorial daily. He urged us, quote, just wear blue, and be proud of that. And that shows support to law enforcement, simple as that. It is wonderful, beautiful to see so much blue here this morning. Harris County and all of Texas grieves and mourns for Deputy Dhaliwal and his family. And our hearts are heavy as we bid farewell to him. Know that Heidi and I and all of us in Houston, across Texas, and across the country are lifting up in prayer Deputy Dhaliwal's family and his friends and the men and women in the Harris County Sheriff's Office who served alongside him and who now bear the responsibility of carrying on his legacy. This week, Piara Dhaliwal, Deputy Dhaliwal's dad, said that with his son's death, he's lost a hero. But he will be remembered in this community. And his legacy of selfless service will live on. This community and the entire state of Texas are better for having known him. Houston is the most diverse big city in America. Deputy Dhaliwal embodied that diversity. And he was an ambassador for understanding. Understanding that we need today and every day going forward. May he rest in peace, and may God bless each of you.
At this time, we will have a closing prayer, and we would like to invite everyone to please stand and join our priest as we pray.
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਤੁਧ ਆਗੇ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਹਮਾਰੀ, ਜੀਓ ਪਿੰਡ ਸਭ ਤੇਰਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ। ਕਹੋ ਨਾਨਕ ਸਭ ਤੇਰੀ ਵਡਿਆਈ, ਕੋਈ ਨਾਉ ਨਾ ਜਾਣੈ ਮੇਰਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ 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 ਇੱਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਭਗਉਤੀ ਜੀ ਸਹਾਇ। ਵਾਰ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਭਗਉਤੀ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹੀ ਦਸਵੀਂ। ਪ੍ਰਥਮ ਭਗਉਤੀ ਸਿਮਰ ਕੈ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਲਈ ਧਿਆਏ। ਫਿਰ ਅੰਗਦ ਗੁਰ ਤੇ ਅਮਰਦਾਸ ਰਾਮਦਾਸ ਹੋਈ ਸਹਾਇ। ਅਰਜੁਨ ਹਰ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਨੋ ਸਿਮਰੋ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਹਰਿ ਰਾਏ। ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਹਰਿ ਕ੍ਰਿਸ਼ਨ ਧਿਆਈਐ, ਜਿਸ ਡਿਠੇ ਸਭ ਦੁਖ ਜਾਏ। ਤੇਗ ਬਹਾਦਰ ਸਿਮਰਿਆ ਕਰਨਉ ਨਿਦਾਵੈ ਧਾਇ। ਸਭ ਥਾਈਂ ਹੋਏ ਸਹਾਇ। ਦਸਵੇਂ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਸਭ ਥਾਈਂ ਹੋਏ ਸਹਾਇ। ਦਸਾਂ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹੀਆਂ ਦੀ ਜੋਤ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਪਾਠ ਦੀਦਾਰ ਦਾ ਧਿਆਨ ਕਰਕੇ ਬੋਲੋ ਜੀ। ਪੰਜਾਂ ਪਿਆਰਿਆਂ ਚੌਹਾਂ ਸਾਹਿਬਜ਼ਾਦਿਆਂ 40 ਮੁਕਤਿਆਂ ਹੱਠੀਆਂ ਜਪੀਆਂ ਤਪੀਆਂ। ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨਾਮ ਜਪਿਆ ਵੰਡ ਕੇ ਛਕਿਆ। ਦੇਗ ਚਲਾਈ ਤੇਗ ਵਾਈ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ ਅੰਡਿਠ ਕੀਤਾ। ਤਿਨਾਂ ਪਿਆਰਿਆਂ ਸਚਿਆਰਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਕਮਾਈ ਦਾ ਧਿਆਨ ਤਰਕੇ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਜੀ ਬੋਲੋ ਜੀ। ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਸਿੰਘਣੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਧਰਮ ਹੇਤ ਸੀਸ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਬੰਦ ਬੰਦ ਕਟਾਏ। ਖੋਪਰੀਆਂ ਲਵਾਈਆਂ ਚਰਖੜੀਆਂ ਤੇ ਚੜਿਆਰਿਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਚਰਾਏ ਗਏ। ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਲਈ ਕੁਰਬਾਨੀਆਂ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਧਰਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਹਾਰਿਆ। ਸਿੱਖੀ ਕੇਸਾਂ ਸੁਆਸਾਂ ਸੰਗ ਨਿਭਾਈ। ਤਿਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਕਮਾਈ ਦਾ ਧਿਆਨ ਤਰਕੇ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਜੀ ਬੋਲੋ ਜੀ। ਪੰਜਾਂ ਤਖਤਾਂ ਸਰਬੱਤ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਧਿਆਨ ਤਰਕੇ ਬੋਲੋ ਜੀ। ਪ੍ਰਥਮੇ ਸਰਬੱਤ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਹੈ ਜੀ। ਸਰਬੱਤ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਜੀ ਕੋ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ वाहिगुरु चित आवे चित आवन का सदका सर्व सुख होवे। जहाँ जहाँ खालसा जी साहिब तहाँ तहाँ रचिया रहत। देग तेग फतेह बिरद की पैज पंथ की जीत। श्री साहिब जी सहाय खालसे जी के बोल बाले बोलो जी। सिखा नू सिखी दान केस दान रहत दान बबेक दान विसाह दान भरोसा दान दाना सिरदान नाम दान। श्री अमृतसर जी के इशनान चौकियाँ झंडे बुंगे जुगो जुगा टल धर्म का जयकार बोलो जी। सिखा दा मन नीवा मत उच्ची मत दा राखा आप वाहिगुरु। हे अकाल पुरख अपने पंथ दे सदा सहाई दा तार जियो। श्री ननकाना साहिब ਅਤੇ ਹੋਰ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰਿਆਂ ਗੁਰਧਾਮਾਂ ਦੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਪੰਥ ਨੂੰ ਵਿਛੋੜਿਆ ਗਿਆ ਹੈ ਖੁੱਲੇ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਦੀਦਾਰ ਸੇਵਾ ਸੰਭਾਲਦਾ ਦਾਨ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਬਖਸ਼ੋ। ਹੇ ਨਿਮਾਣਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਮਾਣ ਨਿਤਾਣਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਤਾਣ ਨਿਉਟਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਓਟ ਧੰਨ ਧੰਨ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ। ਹਾਜ਼ਰ ਨਾਜ਼ਰ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਚਰਨ ਕਮਲਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਜੋਦੜੀ ਹੈ। ਆਪ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਮਹਾਨ ਬਚਨ ਜਿਹਾ ਚੀਰੀ ਲਿਖਿਆ तेहा हुक्म कमाहे। कल्लै आवह नानका सदै उठी जाए मावा कान सार। आप जी दे दर करदे सेवादार सरदार संदीप सिंह धालीवाल आप जी द्वारा बख्शी सवासां दी पूंजी संपूर्ण करदियां आप जी दे चरणां विच जा विराजे हन। सच्चे पातशाह जी उन्हां दी याद नूं समर्पित आप जी दे चरणों का ओट आसरा तकद्या होया सरबत संगतां की इकत्रता हुई। अमृतमई बाणी का कीर्तन होया। बाणी पढ़दिया हुई भुलां गलतियां आप जी ना चितारना किरपा करनी सतगुरु जी। सरदार संदीप सिंह धालीवाल तिन्हां दी विछड़ी आत्मा नूं अपने चरणों विच निवास बख्शना आवागमन तो मुक्त करना परिवार दे सीस ते रहमत भरिया हथ रखना परिवार नूं भाणा मनण दा बल बख्शिश करना घर परिवार अंदर सुख शांति वरताउणी नाम दियां दातां गुरसिੱਖੀ जीवन दियां दातां बख्शिश करनियां सरबत संगतां नूं चढ़दी कला बख्शिश करनी आखिर वादा घाटा भुल चुक मुआफ करनी सरबत के कारज रास करने सही प्यारे मेल जिन्ना मिलिया आप जी दा नाम चित आवे नानक नाम चढ़दी कला तेरे भाणे सरबत दा भला। दोहरा गया भई अकाल की तभी चलायो पंथ सब सिखन का हुक्म है गुरु मान्यो। गुरु ग्रंथ जी मान्यो प्रगट गुरां की जो प्रभु को मेर बहुत है खोज शब्द में राज करेगा खालसा आकी रहना। खुआर होए सब मिलेंगे बचे शरण जो होए बोले सोनिहार। वाहिगुरु जी का वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह। अलविदा मेरे दोस्त जिन्ना साथ साढ़े नाल तेरा सी वो निभ गया मालिक कृपा करे चरणों निवास बख्शे। वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह।
The Sikh prayer that our Bhai Amrik Singh just stated first recounts the 10 gurus who founded the Sikh religion Then we recount the history of struggles. So every time we do prayer, we remember we gave many, many, many lives for freedom of religion and of others' religion. Then we end with the ultimate prayer for the welfare of entire humanity, not just for us. Us is the entire world. So I just wanted to give you a little flavor of all this Punjabi that you may not have understood. So we really appreciate this. Concludes the Sikh ceremonies, and now the blue uniform for the next hour. We would relax and let them do. So once again, thank you very much for showing the outpouring of support for the Sikh community. May God bless you. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa.
Before we officially begin our law enforcement memorial and give our brother his final salute in here, I'm going to ask a couple of people to come to the podium and introduce themselves and help us transition from one to the other.
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Ladies and gentlemen, dignitaries, officers, and deputies, on behalf of the Dhaliwal family, we welcome you. The past week, we have been touched, comforted, and moved by the love and support that you all have shown. In such a tragedy, you have shown us that there is a far more love in the world than hate. And most important, you have given us hope. We are overwhelmed by the amount of love and support this community has shown. We are reminded why we, our families, and Sandeep came to the United States of America. It is because we are united. To the law enforcement officers who vowed to put their lives on line for us, we say that we love you, we respect you, and we thank you for your service. God bless you and God bless America. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
My name is Manpreet Kaur, and on behalf of the Dhaliwal family, an entire Houston Sikh community, and to all the men in uniform, we thank you for your service. We've heard and will continue to hear and learn what Sandeep's life was and will continue to be. His father, Pyara Singh Dhaliwal, said it best. He left the house so often and I didn't know what he was doing, but now I know. So to Sandeep Singh Dhaliwal, we salute you and we thank you for laying down your life to protect the citizens of Harris County. To you, the deputies, Sandeep has been in lockstep with you when he first rose his hand to join the Sheriff's Department. He's been in lockstep with you when he went to cadet training. He's been in lockstep with you when he started the detention center and on the beat. He was in lockstep with you when he woke up every morning and loved his job. And he was in lockstep with you when he swore to protect the citizens of this county. But now, I ask that we join his lockstep for the next years to come to carry his legacy. Using his own words, that we should be in lockstep when someone in need is in need and we try to help them out. That we are in lockstep when we feel that when one American hurts, everybody hurts. That we are in lockstep to do our part to touch hearts and change minds. That we are in lockstep to put a smile on somebody's face. Come on. And I'll sign off just the way he did. God bless Texas, and God bless the United States of America.
At this time, we will have the final salute by our honor guard. You may be seated.
You are not hidden. Never been a moment you were forgotten. You are not hopeless. Though you have been broken, your innocence stolen. I hear you whisper underneath your breath. I hear your SOS, your SOS. I will send out an army to find you in the middle of the darkest night. It's true, I will rescue you. There is no distance we cannot be covered over and over. You're not defenseless. shelter? Are we your armor? I hear you whisper underneath your breath. I hear your SOS, your SOS. I will send out an army to find you in the middle of the darkest night. I will rescue you. I will never stop marching to reach you in the middle of the hardest fight. It's true. I will rescue you. I hear the whisper underneath your breath. I hear you whisper you have nothing left. I will send out an army to find you in the middle of the darkest night. It's true. I will rescue you. I will never stop marching to reach you in the middle of the hardest fight. It's true. I will rescue you. Oh, I will rescue you.
I'd like to ask the following to join me on the platform, and seated from my right to left in this order, please, and this is be the order that you will speak in. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. Lieutenant Governor, if you'll join us up here. Judge Hidalgo, Harris County Judge. Commissioner Adrian Garcia. New Jersey Attorney General Gulbir S. Grewal. I hope I got that right, brother. Sergeant Lightfoot from District 5. And Sheriff Ed Gonzalez. My name is Shannon Bowden. I'm a lieutenant with the Harris County Sheriff's Office. It is my honor to serve as the chaplain of the largest sheriff's office in the state of Texas, and the third largest in the United States. It was my privilege and honor, though it was a heartbreaking time, to be with this family at Herman Hospital this past Friday when Sandeep Dhaliwal closed his eyes and stepped into eternity. It was a very difficult thing, but it was a precious moment that I got to embrace a wife, sisters, and a father. Baba, I love you. I love you, Baba. I'm not going to stand up here long. I'm going to share a very brief passage of scripture with you. About a year ago, Sandeep Dhaliwal lost his mother, and I attended that service just to support him as the chaplain. And he asked me when I got there, he said, Lieutenant, would you pray? I said, and he said, would you speak? I said, well, sure, I'll speak, but I don't know Sikh prayers, brother. He said, that's okay. I want you to pray in your Christian tradition. I would not have it any other way. And it's fitting that we are here today, Christian, Jew, Sikh, non-believer, all of us here, Buddhist, in the most diverse city in the United States of America, celebrating the life of this man in this manner, to where two cultures are coming together, the law enforcement culture and the Sikh culture. And I submit to you, coming together and blending perfectly, because we serve a perfect God. The Apostle Paul in the Christian Scriptures writes to the church at Philippi in the 2nd chapter, saying this: "Is there any encouragement from belonging to Christ, any comfort from his love, any fellowship together in the Spirit? Are your hearts tender and compassionate? Then make me truly happy by agreeing wholeheartedly with each other, loving one another, and working together with one mind and one purpose." And this next passage, I think, truly encapsulates the character and nature of my brother and your brother, Sandeep Dhaliwal. Don't be selfish. Don't try to impress others. Be humble, thinking of others as better than yourselves. Don't look out only for your own interest, but take an interest in others too. And that is the life that my brother led. Before I turn the podium over to our speakers and gentlemen and lady, if you would just come in the order that I've called you. Lieutenant Dan Patrick, you will speak first. I'm sorry, Mayor Turner, I completely forgot to call your name. I skipped over it. I try to do things perfect, y'all, but I don't get it right sometimes. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, Judge Hidalgo, Commissioner Garcia, Mayor Turner, Attorney General Grual, Sergeant Lightfoot, and then Sheriff Gonzalez will close us out, and then I will come back and give us our dismissal orders. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you. Amen. Lieutenant Governor.
Good morning. I also want to recognize Cecilia Abbott, representing the governor here today. Thank you for being here. I don't normally speak at these events. I believe it's for family, friends, co-workers, but I was asked to speak, and I'm honored to have an opportunity to speak. Since 2015, we've lost 50 men and women of law enforcement in the line of duty. And Deputy Dhaliwal is that 50th. It's a dangerous thing that you do, the men and women here today. It's a dangerous thing that he did. But he knew that, as all these men and women here today. And that's an incredible statement of a human being to be willing to give their life for a stranger if called upon. I didn't have the pleasure or the honor of knowing your husband or your son, but I saw the photographs on television and some of the video when he was with our two sheriffs here today on the stage. And I instantly felt this warmth from his smile and the kindness in his eyes. And I understand that that was a window into his soul that made him the person he was. To serve his community, to serve his fellow man, as dangerous as it could be and turned out to be. There's nothing today that no one on the stage can say to the family to take away the pain and the loss. But this memorial that has been set up for him, this service, these two services today, should send a strong message. Number one, that we in Harris County and we in the state of Texas stand behind the men and women of law enforcement, and we respect you and we love you despite the evil that exists in the world. Secondly, it sends a message that Sandeep will never be forgotten. Never be forgotten. Decades from now, not just the family, but the people he served, those strangers that he met and made them friends, the community he served will talk about him and the great man that he was. He did more in his short life than some people do who live 100 years. He made a real difference through his acts of kindness As Senator Ted Cruz said earlier, we're one of the most diverse, if not the most diverse city in the country. And we're all here today, different faiths, but we're all here today for the family. My pastor, Dr. Ed Young, said when you go to a service or go to visit someone in the hospital, go to a funeral, what do you say? And he said, you're just there. And today, all of these people who won't have a chance to speak to the family, they're here for you. They're here of respect to him. In my faith, in the book of Matthew 20:26, it says, for those who wish to be great, you must first be a servant. Sandeep Dhaliwal was great because he was first a servant. I'm here representing the Texas Senate, the legislature, the governor, along with Mrs. Abbott, to let you know that far beyond these walls across the state of Texas, 29 million of us hurt for you. Hurt for you. And you'll be in our prayers. And we thank the family, because that's always something that strikes me. Of all the services Mrs. Abbott or the governor and I have attended over these 5 years, of all the men and women we've lost, the sacrifice that you all make, you have the only job that I know of outside of the military that defends us beyond our borders, but the only job in America, in Texas, where every day you get up and you put on a badge and you put on a gun to go out there and protect people you don't even know. And the families wait for you to come home safely. So thanks to all of you who are here from different states and different counties for what you do every day for us. And our deepest gratitude to the Dhaliwal family. Our hearts all break with yours. Every time someone in law enforcement passes away, every heart in Texas breaks a little bit more. May God bless you. Thank you.
Sandeep Dhaliwal was a deputy, a husband, a father, a son. I want you all to know, to his family, on behalf of Harris County, he was a friend to many. As your county judge, I want you to know that our county and our community are better because he lived. As an immigrant, I want you to know that our county and our country were stronger because you made the decision to leave your country and to come to the United States, to come to Harris County and to this great community. To his children, your father taught us how to meet people where they are. He taught us how to join folks, whether it was a child at a coffee shop or somebody undergoing a medical emergency. To his wife, I want you to know your father, your husband, taught us that life is a collection of small acts of kindness. To his father, your son, taught us to go boldly where other people won't, to open doors and to love, to be strong together. You have lost your hero, and that's unimaginable pain that none of us can understand. But your father, your husband, your son has shown us that love. He has taught us to open our doors and open our hearts. We will not let our community be fearful, because the opposite of love is not hate, it is fear. We will not live in fear of another tragedy. We will not close our doors. We will not close our hearts. But rather, we will go forward together. He has shown the love and the commitment that so many leaders in our community have for him and for everyone who makes the ultimate sacrifice and who every single day sacrifices for the rest of us. I believe that's the message Deputy Sandeep Dhaliwal wanted us to take, and that's the message we will carry forward in our hearts.
Sat Sri Akal. Sandeep Veer. Sandeep Piyar. Dhaliwal Parivar. Sandeep was my brother. Sandeep was love. And the Dhaliwals are my family. Elected officials, dignitaries, members of Congress, thank you for being here to honor a decent man. I want to thank, in particular, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, who cannot join us, but she worked with the family tirelessly to help have some members from the UK be here today. Harinder, I don't have the words. Sandeep took a special place in my heart. He only shares it with my family, my blood family. My daughter, my wife are here. My daughter made a special trip to be here because Sandeep would always say, Miss Nina, how's Miss Nina? And Miss Monica. Baba, you raised a good man. You raised them with a heart of gold. It is unfair that a father should outlive his son. It is unfair. But know that this stadium and all those around the world that are watching us, that this celebration of life is fit for a king. You gave us your only son, Baba. And all he wanted to do was to make you proud. And he did so beautifully. When you were watching and when you couldn't see him, he was carrying your heart, your values, your name, your respect. He was carrying it out into this incredible community, touching all those who were curious to see this man in a turban and a beard carrying a badge and gun. Children that were not his own. And even for those who may have tilted their head to see a police officer wearing a turban, Sandeep won him over. We have been so blessed. I lost a brother in law enforcement a few years ago. And the first thing I thought when I got that fateful call from Sheriff Gonzalez, Sheriff, thank you for your leadership, was that I'd lost another brother. To the Sikh officers in uniform, Attorney General, Thank you for being the example that you are for Sandeep. He admired you, he respected you, and he wanted to be like you. And to the broader community and to all the law enforcement officers that are here, to members of this incredibly diverse community, I will respectfully say that Sandeep, although taken too soon and in a horrible fashion, Sandeep was here to teach us. He was here to guide us. He was here to help us understand that if we just approach each other on a level of decency, so much good can come from it. I had a good cry this morning. And I'm trying to hold one back. But I got so many memories of Sandeep. And one that hasn't been shared, but I'll close with it, was that as I was with Sandeep one evening, and somebody from the family calls out and says, "Hey, Vicky." And Sandeep moves off. "Well, I got a trained ear. I heard Vicky." And so I said, "Sandeep, did I hear Vicky?" And he goes, "Oh, Sheriff, there's a story behind that." See, in India, Vicky apparently is a common nickname for a young man. But when he came here, he made friends with another young man from the States, and that young man asked him, "What's your name?" And Sandeep says, "Vicky." And the young man goes, "What?" He goes, "Vicky." He goes, "Oh, no. We cannot have a Vicky here. You cannot be Vicky here. You're Ricky." But it just goes to show that the purity that was in Sandeep's heart when he was Vicky is the purity that he served this great community, this great state, and this great country. I love you. Sat Sri Akal.
This morning, Wednesday is normally our city council day. And this morning was our city council day. And we had a fairly long agenda. And normally we start at 9 a.m. and we go generally until about 12 or 12:30. I want this family to know that because of your son, your husband, your father, city council this morning started at 9 and we were done by 9:35. That doesn't happen too often. But I wanted you to know that every member of the Houston City Council wanted to be a part of this service this morning. And most of them, not all of them, are here this morning out of tribute and respect for your son. Can't erase the pain this morning, but in moments like these, we fall on our faith. We believe that in moments like this, God has a way of giving us the strength to just push forward. Some things we don't understand, some things make no sense, but in moments like this, we fall on our pain. I want to extend my deepest respect and condolences to this family on behalf of the city of Houston. Our respect for all of law enforcement, every man, every woman who leaves their home, patrol our streets, put their lives on the line, to their families, our deepest respect. And once again, to the Sikh community, to Sheriff Gonzalez, and again, let me thank you for your leadership during these moments, to the men and women of the Sheriff's Office, and to the thousands of people who knew the deputy so well. Want to extend our thanks and want to extend our outreach to them, just like Deputy Dhaliwal extended the friendship and love to so many in our community. I said before, he was the ambassador of all that is good. All that is good. And the way his death occurred does not erase that. He was, continues to be, the ambassador that all that is good, all that is just, and all about service. Do we still grieve? Absolutely. We will continue to grieve. Yes, we will. But I do want this family and the Sikh community and others to know that all across our community, all across this state and country and even the world, there are people that are talking about Sandeep Dhaliwal. He reminds us that one person can make a difference. One person can make a difference. And if anyone dared to question that, just take a look in this room today and take a look, reflect on all of the outpouring of love that have occurred since Friday. And quite frankly, we don't come because this is a special day. We gather here because the life he lived was special. Not about Friday, but it's about every single day that he lived, the service that he rendered, and how he lived his life that makes this day so special. One person. And he reminds us all, you don't have to be a star athlete or an entertainer or even a public office holder. You can be a cop, a sheriff deputy, do your job well, wear the blue, get up every day to protect and serve, and one person can make a difference. And he has. I'll close with this. How do we celebrate his life? We celebrate his life through service of our own. If we value the life he led, then we must continue to serve others, irrespective of differences, ethnicity, political persuasion, because for him it did not matter. Protect and defend is what he did. Sheriff Garcia, Commissioner Garcia, I want to again thank you for having the courage yourself to put in place a policy that allowed him to serve. Sheriff Gonzalez, I want to thank you for continuing that policy. And my commitment is that the trail that he blazed, where he was able to walk through the door when the door was open, that others from the Sikh community, when it comes to the Houston Police Department, that others will follow as well on the trail that he blazed. He was a unique person. And then some people say he was an ordinary person doing some extraordinary things. I beg to differ. He was an extraordinary person that did some incredible things that impacted our community in an incredible way. And a city that happens to be the most diverse in the country is a city, because of this one person, on this day, and hopefully days to come, will be the most unified it has ever been. What a tribute. What a legacy. And so therefore I, Sylvester Turner, Mayor, City of Houston, hereby proudly proclaim this day, October 7th, 22nd, 2019, as Sheriff Deputy Sandeep Dhaliwal Day in the City of Houston. This shall be forever, forever his day. And to God be the glory for the good he has done.
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ fateh. To the Dhaliwal family, to all the dignitaries gathered, to all the friends, community members, men and women of law enforcement, it is indeed an honor and a privilege to join you this afternoon to share a few words. But the unfortunate reality is that it's difficult for me this afternoon to find adequate words of remembrance at this moment. And that's because I don't believe that there are enough words to honor the life of Deputy Sandeep Singh Dhaliwal, to honor his service, to honor his bravery and his sacrifice. Nor are there enough words for me to offer to comfort this community, especially the law enforcement community, at this very difficult time. And there certainly are not enough words for me to share this afternoon with his family and his young children, to address their pain and their grief. But while there are not enough words to capture any of what I've just described, I do think there are things that we can do in this moment, things that we must do in this moment. And it begins with coming together as we are this afternoon to remember Deputy Dhaliwal, to remember what he stood for and the principles that he embodied. I never had the privilege of meeting him, the honor of meeting him or speaking to him. But I know from hearing from those who've spoken this morning and during this ceremony, and from talking to his family and others that he touched far and wide, that he represented the very best of us. He was the embodiment of the American dream, proof that in this country, it makes no difference where you come from, what you believe, what you look like, that if you work hard, you can achieve success. And he succeeded. First in business, but more importantly, later in life, in public service as a law enforcement officer, showing with the steadfast support of many on this dais that you don't have to sacrifice your faith, you don't have to sacrifice your identity to serve others. And in doing so, he not only gave the Sikh community here in Texas, across the country, and throughout the world the confidence to be comfortable in their sarup, in their identity, but he also inspired, as we saw on the stage earlier, an entire generation of Sikhs to enter public service. He has blazed, as the mayor said, a path for others to follow well into the future, to become first responders, to enter law enforcement, to enter military service with their identities intact. But here's the thing. It wasn't enough for Deputy Dhaliwal to be the first or to just serve. We must also remember today and on all days that he was someone who put himself before others in every aspect of his life, in every aspect of his work, that he was the ultimate embodiment of the Sikh concept of seva, of selfless service. And what better proof of that than the fact that he laid down his life in service of his community, making the ultimate sacrifice. But it's also not enough to remember. We all need to act as well. We have to support his family. We must be here for them in whatever way we can, today and into the future. And for those of us in positions of authority, we must support our law enforcement officers, ensuring that they always have the tools and the resources to do their jobs safely and effectively. And we must do all that we can to hold accountable those that target our law enforcement officers. And that includes pushing back against this rising tide of disrespect and disregard that we are witnessing against our law enforcement officers at this time in this country. We are witnessing it against our heroes. Heroes like Deputy Dhaliwal, heroes who run to danger to keep us safe, who put themselves in harm's way so we can live in peace. This is a profoundly difficult time, and I'm well aware that my words offer little comfort. But for those of us from the Sikh faith, we do well to remember what our scripture, the Sri Guru Granth Sahib, reminds us. Jehe chire likhya, teha hukam kamaiye, kalle ave nanka, sade uthe jaye. As his decree is issued, so too is his command obeyed. Those who are sent to this world, O Nanak, come, and when they are called back, they depart. Deputy Dhaliwal has been called back. He has departed, and that is what we as Sikhs are taught to accept. On behalf of the state of New Jersey, our Governor Philip Murphy, the Colonel of our New Jersey State Police, Colonel Patrick Callahan, who is here with me today, on behalf of the 36,000 men and women of law enforcement in the state of New Jersey, we thank the Dhaliwal family for sharing Sandeep with us. We honor Sandeep for making the ultimate sacrifice, and we offer our deepest condolences to his grieving family, his colleagues, and this community. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Before I start, I'd like everybody that worked with Deputy Dhaliwal, including everybody from District 5, to please rise. Everybody that was in District 5 or is currently in District 5. And to the Dhaliwal family, I'm honored to be able to speak on behalf of such a great man. This is your family. We won't let you down. He was our brother, and he's still our brother, and you're still our family. So thank you. I had a little moment of clarity this morning. I wrote a speech last night, and after listening to the Sikh service, I had a moment of clarity that Dhaliwal was the epitome of what you guys stand for. He was a servant leader, and he was one of my friends, and I've met so many of his family throughout the years, and I want to say that I've had kind words with many of you. I met with the family after this tragedy, and I feel comfort. I felt comfort after I left your house and speaking with you about my friend. So I'm Sergeant Adam Lightfoot, and on behalf of Captain Marcus Kennard Bing and the men and women of District 5, I want to thank you for your attendance here today. Your presence and support means so much to us as a district in this time of mourning, as well as the entire body of the Harris County Sheriff's Office. The loss of such a dear and faithful member of our family has been difficult, but we also experienced an outpouring of support from the community he so bravely served. I'm going to go back on a little history with Deputy Dhaliwal. When I met Dhaliwal, and we call each other by our last names because that's just how it is in law enforcement and the military, so I'll call somebody their first name and somebody by their last name. So Dhaliwal was just Dhaliwal. So we both arrived in District 5 in 2013. Dhaliwal was a patrol deputy on probation, evening shift, and I was a supervisor. His training officer, Sully, and I'm sure Sully's here somewhere, Sully was off that night, and I was in the sergeant's office doing the roster, and this guy runs in and walks in, sticks his hand out and says, "Deputy Dhaliwal reporting for duty, Sarge." And I was taken aback. I was like, who is this guy that has so much energy? I'd never met him before. But that's who he was. And that's my first meeting with such a great man. And I was right. He was full of energy. He always volunteered for the extra details that we had. One of our duties was to create traffic initiatives to address problems with speeders, red light runners, other kind of violators. So we had an issue with people exiting the controlled access freeway up by our substation. Lieutenant Bruce can attest to that. But I asked Deputy Dhaliwal one day, and this is probably July, in 100-degree heat. I said, Sandeep, I said, I need you to go out to our spot and just, be visible, make some contacts, generate us some stats. We've got some problems over here. He says, no problem, Sarge, I'm on it. So I finished my duties and went down the road and made the U-turn and came back up the feeder, and Dhaliwal had 6 or 7 cars pulled over at one time. And I said, what are you doing? He said, well, Sarge, he said, I flagged them all over, and I'm going to ride them all at one time. And I said, well, you really love this job. And I'm sure he made a lot of them mad, because normally you don't want to detain somebody that long on the side of the road and wait for everybody else to get their citation. So that's just the effort that he put through in his daily duties. And I was talking about stories with some of our coworkers. We always eat lunch together, and so there's a lot of ribbon that goes on between us. And I had thought of a few stories that were appropriate to tell here, and one. We had the crackers that they give you at Chick-fil-A, so I crumbled up a bunch of them and I threw them on the roof of his patrol car. And so when he left, there was about 8 grackles sitting on the top of his patrol car eating crackers off of his car, and he didn't notice. He got in his car, put his car in reverse, and backed out, and all these birds stayed there on the car. So it was quite a sight to be leaving a Chick-fil-A with a bunch of wildlife in tow. So we ribbed him about it, and he had no idea. So it's just one of the many funny stories that I can tell you about Dhaliwal, and we call him Dhaliwal stories. And everybody I work with probably has a Dhaliwal story. There's another one when he bumped into a patrol car and acted like he didn't do it, but anyway, he was a blast to work with. Just a comedy and an infectious smile. If I could take one thing away from just having known him for so many years, he was always smiling. He'd come into my office, and every other Friday was payroll day, so I'm sitting there and I'm typing away in the computer, and he goes, "Good morning, Sarge." And I'm like, what? I'm busy. I got all this mess to do. I've got all this payroll to work on. How's it a good morning? He's like, let's go eat. And I'm like, okay, let's get out of here. So that's the type of person he was, and he was, just know that he was an uplifting spirit amongst our group, and he was definitely a valued part of our team. So we worked together 6.5 years. He never lost the excitement for the job that he did, and he never met a stranger. I'm telling you, he never turned away from a hug. He never turned away from a handshake. Always willing to engage with the public and the citizens we served, and that's just a testament to who he was as a person. So National Night Out was last night, and it was a little tough. We had a lot of support, but I tell you, every stop that I made, it just touched me because somebody had something positive to say about Sandeep. A child came up to me, an adult, a lady in a wheelchair came up and said he touched her life. So even the employees at our favorite Chick-fil-A wrote a letter, just a touching letter about what he meant to them. So there's no telling how many lives Sandeep touched in his time with the sheriff's office. I know he touched each and every one of us who were lucky to share a beat with him. And in closing, I remember at the vigil, they had a candlelight vigil on Monday, and Commissioner Garcia gave a touching speech. And he said that he felt partially responsible for the events or bringing Sandeep into this. But I thank him for his wisdom to bring such a just a great guy into our ranks. And so thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you.
Sut Sri Akal. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us as we pay tribute to our friend and brother, Harris County Sheriff's Office Deputy Sandeep Dhaliwal. The story of Sandeep Dhaliwal has many chapters, but in the end, it's not how Sandeep Dhaliwal lost his life that made him a hero. It's how he lived his life. He is a hero because of service during his entire life. So today is not about a horrible tragedy, it is about a hero. Sandeep has brought this entire community together in a very powerful way, in a way that only Sandeep could do. He joined the Harris County Sheriff's Office first as a detention officer, and then he would advance to deputy, where he served as a patrol deputy in this community. The community he also chose to raise his family. Law enforcement is a unique profession because we are so immediately recognizable. We drive marked cars, we wear uniforms and badges, we carry guns. For most of us, the day we put on our uniform is the first day we see what it's like having people look at us differently than they ever did before. It's when we start to realize that our actions no longer speak for who we are as individuals, but they influence how those we encounter will come to view anyone else from our profession. We learn that we are ambassadors for law enforcement. For Sandeep, that has always been the case, because he wore his Sikh faith on the outside for everyone to see. The turban, the beard. He was a trailblazer. He embraced all the initial scrutiny, questions, and sideways glances because he valued being part of our law enforcement family, and in particular being part of the Harris County Sheriff's Office family. He saw in our profession an opportunity to serve with a deeper purpose and to make a positive difference. And he succeeded far beyond his own dreams and expectations. The thousands of you gathered here today are the living proof and recognition of that success. The turnout today is not only a tribute to his service to our community, but an acknowledgement of the amazing individual that he was. There are few undertakings so noble as the protection of our own community. It is defined by service and attracts those who truly believe they can make a difference. There are many who enter our profession and serve with distinction. There are select few who soar above the rest. When he was on the job, he modeled for the rest of us how to be true ambassadors for this profession. Show genuine interest in your colleagues and the people we serve. Get to know people, invest in them, be a friend. Serve with humility and kindness, help those in need. He was a man of dedication, faith, love, and compassion. A man who worked daily to protect our community, and that dedication sadly brings us to this moment. He was a proud deputy dedicated to his work up to his final hour. He did his job until the last second of his life. Losing Sandeep has hit all of us extremely hard. You don't replace people like Sandeep. Instead, we must allow ourselves to be changed by him. That is how we will honor our brother's legacy and his sacrifice to this community that he embraced. People like Sandeep make us all better. Sandeep was an inspiration to us all. and was considered to be one of our finest deputies with a bright future to match his beautiful, bright personality, enthusiasm, and joy for life. I will miss the gentle smile and the embrace I received each time I saw him, and that confidence that he exuded. His smile could light up a room. Eventually, we will get back to smiling the way Sandeep did. To his wife, Harvinder, his 3 beautiful children, to Baba, PR, his father, sisters, uncle, as well as to all his family members. On behalf of the men and women of the Harris County Sheriff's Office, who I proudly speak for today, thank you. Thank you for sharing him with us. I want you to know with absolute certainty that Sandeep did you proud. I hope that these last few days you felt the love and support not only from his Harris County Sheriff's Office family, but the entire first responder community and this entire county, state, and country. There are no words capable of providing sufficient comfort. All we can do is pledge our undying support and promise to be by your side from this moment forward. To the members of our District 5 Patrol who he loved and respected him back, console yourself in knowing that Sandeep spent his last moments in the company of you, his law enforcement family. Sandeep has touched so many people, as you can see in this room. Deputy Sandeep Dhaliwal will be celebrated, and his legacy will be remembered forever. There is hope because we carry him with us. It's the responsibility of the community to honor those who serve and protect. I am proud of our community for rallying behind the Sheriff's Office in such a difficult time. You lifted us up in our darkest hour. I thank Deputy Dhaliwal and all first responders for their service. If you're a member of the first responder community here, locally, or in our state, if you could please rise, please, so we could appreciate you. If you're a member of first responder community or the military, anywhere in our country or around the world, please stand up and be recognized. Thank you. These men and women put their lives on the line so that others have the chance to live in safety, and we are eternally grateful. This tragedy has united a lot of us in the first responder community, in this region, in the state, and across the nation. The most important thing in times like these is to get together to support each other. We appreciate all the support you've given us to help us get through this. To all the agencies that at this very moment are out there helping support either this event, this remembrance ceremony, or helping us run calls, we appreciate you so more members of our law enforcement family could be here. I will close with one of my favorite poems by George Bernard Shaw that reminds me of the way that my friend Sandeep lived. I am of the opinion that my life belongs to the community, and as long as I live, it is my privilege to do for it whatever I can. I want to be thoroughly used up when I die, for the harder I work, the more I live. Life is no brief candle to me. It is a sort of splendid torch which I have got a hold of for just a moment, and I want to make it burn as brightly as possible before handing it off to future generations. We need more Sandeeps in the world, so I challenge each and every one of you today, go out and be a Sandeep Dhaliwal. May God bless this community. May God bless the Harris County Sheriff's Office and the entire first responder community here today. May God bless the great state of Texas, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Please be seated. Please be seated. I'm sorry. I'm going to be giving us some specific dismissal instructions here in just a second. Before I do, I'm going to read one final passage of Scripture and say a dismissal prayer. In the book of Numbers, chapter 6, the Scripture says, "Then the Lord said to Moses, 'Tell Aaron and his sons to bless the people of Israel with this special blessing.' And so I speak this blessing upon every one of you under the sound of my voice today. May the Lord bless you and protect you. May the Lord smile on you and be gracious to you. May the Lord show you his favor and give you his peace." It is my prayer as chaplain of the Sheriff's Office that every one of you would go in the peace of God today, knowing that we have celebrated the life of a blessing in the person of Sandeep Singh Dhaliwal. Would you bow your head and pray with me? Father, we love you. We thank you for this day. And we ask you to bless this family, this entire community, my blue family, and all of us under the sound of my voice. It is my prayer that your Spirit would speak to us and assure us and comfort us in knowing that our lives are in your hand, and that you would bless this family, his precious wife, his children, his father, all of the family, Lord Jesus, and we pray that you would speak to them and let them know you will never leave them nor forsake them. And it is in the name of Christ that I pray. Amen. Before I give dismissal orders, I'd like to acknowledge a resolution that came from the office of Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. I know that we have other elected officials here from state, local, and federal governments. If you are an elected official here, either local government, state government, or federal government, would you please stand and allow us to acknowledge your presence here today? Mayor, I want to apologize again. I read too fast. I skipped right over your name. I'm so sorry about that. I'll probably get transferred as a result of that. No, I'm just teasing. It's good to laugh. It's good to laugh. Scripture says, "Laughter doeth the heart good like a medicine." Okay, I need all dignitaries and command staff to stay in your seats. We will dismiss you in just a minute. I need all honor guards to please stand and exit outside. And our honor guard commanders will give you instructions once you get outside. So please, honor guards, please go ahead and exit at this time. And to my guests here on the dais, if you'd like to return to your seats in preparation of dismissal, that would be just fine.
हम आपसे एक बार फिर इल्तिजा करेंगे, रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे कि आप हमारे YouTube चैनल VOMtv न्यूज़ चैनल को ज़रूर सब्सक्राइब करें और साथ में बनी घंटी को भी दबाएं ताकि हर वीडियो अपलोड होते ही आप तक नोटिफिकेशन पहुंच जाए। धन्यवाद।